This is an accessory that DJI doesn't seem to want you to know about. It's the electronic ND filter for the Mavic 4 Pro, and they sent it out with the Mavic 4 Pro to creators at the Mavic 4 Pro launch, not including me. And then when the drone launched, they told creators that they couldn't talk about it. But now these have started to come on the market, shipped in from China, and so I got one, and today we're going to test it out. Now I got mine off of Amazon. It took about 2 weeks to get in from China, and it cost about 430 bucks. The price has actually come down to $399 right now, but I have seen some people getting these off of Facebook groups for more like 350 bucks. And I will link to the Amazon seller that I got this from as well. But enough talking, let's go ahead and get this box opened up and test out some unapproved DJI hardware. And there we go. There is our electronic ND filter. So as you can see here, it has two different parts, one for the wide angle camera and then a separate one for the two telephoto cameras. And if we pull it out and look at the back, you can see it's one solid piece of glass. And there are these little electrical contacts that connect it to your Mavic 4 Pro camera. And one cool thing I just noticed about this case is that it actually has little SD card slots right down here at the bottom to hold your micro SD cards for your drone. Great multi-purpose case. So to install this on our Mavic 4 Pro, we're just going to pop off our default lens and then grab our END filter. And as you can see, there are these little contacts right there that match up to the contacts on the ND filter. And so we should just be able to clip it right into place like so. And there it is. It does definitely make the camera drop down a little bit. So I'll be curious to see how it flies with the weight and balance issues, if there are any issues there with it making the gimbal fail or flip down or whatever. But yeah, let's test it out. All right, so let's go ahead and power this drone on, see if the gimbal does its whole flippy sequence normally. It looks good so far. All good to go. The extra weight on the gimbal doesn't seem to be affecting it too much. It seems to have successfully calibrated and is doing gimbal-y things. So let's fly. Now there's a message here on the screen that says, when using electronic ND filter and adjusting white balance manually, adjust color temperature and tones for color correction. So I believe this filter does have a little bit of a color cast. I'm actually going to test that more in depth once we have done our test flight, but let's get it in there. All right, so far it is looking quite good. We do have our extra line here for the END. It looks like the UI is a little crammed here. Probably they didn't quite finish the UI, but this is by default on auto. And as you can see, as we tilt up to the sky and it darkens the exposure, it goes to a higher ND setting. And then if we, let's say, open up our aperture, then it goes also to a higher ND setting. So that's a great way to add auto exposure if you want to without messing with any of your other settings. But for now, we are going to lock this in and take our drone up a little bit. And one of the really nice things about using any ND filter, or especially having the END on here, is that it lets you set your aperture in the f2.8 to f4 range, which is the sharpest range on the wide camera of the Mavic 4 Pro. And you can still adjust your exposure without messing with your shutter speed or ISO. So right now we're in D-Log M, we are at ISO 100. We've got our shutter speed locked to 1/60th of a second, and we can just dial our exposure in here. This looks pretty good. I'm trying to keep detail in both the sky and the ground, but yeah, let's go fly. We are currently giving it some pretty good gas. Let's try stopping quickly and see if that does anything to flip the camera. It does not look like it does. We're in normal mode. Let's try accelerating in sport mode. We seem to be all good here. Let's get a really nice shot kind of going to the side over this hill here at a little bit of down tilt as we come over the valley. And there we go. And now, nice thing is with electronic ND, now I'm pointing down more and I don't have to change any of my other settings. I can just adjust my END to brighten things up and we are all good to go. Now let's try flying the drone backwards and then stopping suddenly. Looks like we might have had a slight jiggle there. You can see in the final footage on your screen, but it didn't look terrible. Seems to be decently steady. One thing we should try here is flipping our gimbal straight down. And we'll see how it performs with the gimbal straight down here. I'm gonna start flying forward. It is going pretty slow. Okay, we already knew that it would tend to do that, but we are now going to stop suddenly. Looks like we're good. I'm not sure if there maybe were some slight jitters there. Again, you can look at the footage. It's kind of bright out here, so it's a little hard to see the screen. Flying backwards. And we stop, and it looks perfectly smooth. So, looks like on the wide camera, we are good. By the way, if you want to get the most cinematic shots with your DJI Mavic 4 Pro, I've got 2 completely free things that you won't want to miss. First, I've put all of my best cinematic settings for this drone into a PDF checklist that you can download and use while you're out flying. And I'm giving it away completely free. You can download it, link in the description. And the second thing is I've put together a completely free 45-minute drone filmmaking training, and I actually just updated it for 2026. I cover everything from the best settings to use, how to get smooth dynamic movements, how to edit your videos, how to color grade them, and a whole bunch more. Again, completely free, no strings attached, and link to that is in the description as well. Now back to testing out the END filter. Next up, let's go ahead and test out our 6X camera. I'm going to switch into 6X, and this is probably going to be one of my favorite things with this END is that I can adjust the exposure without messing up my shutter speed on the fly on the telecamera. This is absolutely game-changing. Now it does look like the white balance is pretty warm. I'm going to do the white balance test at the end here once I bring the drone back in, but we should just be able to adjust for that with our manual white balance, and that looks pretty good. Here comes a car, perfect thing. We can track it, start flying to the side. Looks like we are going to head behind trees here, but we should be able to keep tracking it out the other side. We are looking golden there. Seems to not be causing any particular jitters or anything or affecting the gimbal. Looks like we're good to go. I'm going to stop all of a sudden, and it looks like I am a little out of signal range here, so I actually could not see what happened there. But so far everything does look just fine on that 7X camera. Let's do a little parallax move here around this barn. Gonna get going nice and fast and stop real quick and see what it does. I do not see any issues there so far. And yeah, all in all, this seems to be great. A few little jitters there when you stop super quickly on the 7x camera. But to me, this isn't a super huge issue because I generally try to not start or stop rapidly during an actual drone shot. So usually when I'm stopping rapidly, I'm gonna be cutting that part out of my drone shot anyway, so not a major issue for me personally. Let's switch out here to our 2.5. And again, we can just set this up with our correct shutter speed and just dial in the exposure with that electronic ND in there. I am definitely liking this END, and it will probably stay on my Mavic 4 Pro basically 100% of the time. And it will probably also be one more reason that I feel like flying my Mavic 4 versus literally any other drone, because having adjustable in-flight NDs is awesome. That way you don't have to guess which ND filter to use or calculate which ND filter to use. I do actually have an ND filter calculator app that I built, but I would much rather not have to use that and just be able to adjust it in real time while you are flying. And so now if we want to go back to shooting something with sky in it, we can just go END and we can darken this down. Let's see, how high does this go? Okay, it goes all the way up to 64, which is very dark. We can bump up our ISO to accommodate, and it still will not take ISO 800. Let's actually switch over here into D-Log, because D-Log is where you many times run into the most issues, because you have a ISO 400 base ISO versus ISO 100 in D-Log M. Can't go any lower than ISO 400. So for that, 1/60th of a second, f2.8, ND64 is just the right amount. Actually, maybe a little bit too much, so we could bump that down to, let's say, 32, and that's probably about right. The sky looks bright, but we're not clipping on our histogram, so we are good. Let's see what other good shots we can get here. Honestly, lighting is not great right now. It is the middle of the day, slightly cloudy, but pretty flat and boring light. However, that is a great time to test ND filter when you actually need it, because the light is brighter than you would be able to get a nice slow shutter speed with. And if you're wondering why we're even using ND filters, why use a slower shutter speed, it's because slower shutter speed creates more natural motion blur, simulates how our eyes see motion, and just makes your footage look a lot more cinematic. I'm actually going to swap over here into Explore mode and zoom all the way in past the 7X camera, just so we get an idea of if it still retains all of the sharpness. And I will also do a sharpness test once I get on the ground, but it does look to me like we are keeping all of our sharpness. That is very nice and crispy. I don't see any particular lack of sharpness there that I would expect to be there otherwise. So looks like we are good on that front. One thing I am curious about here is if you can set one dial on the remote to actually control that END. So let's see if we can maybe set our C2 plus right dial to adjust. It does not look like we are able to adjust our electronic ND filter with the dials on the back of this remote, which is kind of unfortunate because that would be a great feature, but unfortunately that is not available, at least currently. Now, as to why you can't currently get these directly from DJI, why they pulled it at launch, I don't know if it was because they were having some weight and balance issues with it throwing off the gimbal or something, and maybe they've fixed those or something, just haven't released it, or if it was, I've heard something about some kind of a patent from Sony. I don't know if it was all of that or any of that, but it is really nice that you can actually pick these up online from China. Now, they are kind of expensive. Your typical set of ND filters is going to be more around 100, 150 bucks, not 300, 400. So it is definitely an additional cost. However, I have no regrets of getting this filter because it will save a ton of time and frustration when I'm shooting, because I don't have to fool with switching ND filters and I can just change it when I'm shooting. And this is especially a game changer for the telecameras, because on the wide angle camera, you could use the aperture to adjust your exposure. However, when you went to the telecameras, the only thing you could do to fine tune your exposure in the air once you had put on an ND filter was to change your shutter speed or your ISO, which wasn't ideal because motion blur makes even more difference on the telecameras, because you often have faster motion with those telecameras, especially if you're doing an orbit or parallax with them. So being able to dial in the correct exposure with the correct shutter speed is absolutely huge. All right, next we are going to go ahead and bring this drone down, and we're specifically going to test out the color cast at both minimum and maximum strength versus no ND filter, as well as checking if you lose sharpness and detail and how much on both the wide angle camera and the telephoto camera. So I did a bit of additional testing in the studio under controlled conditions as well as outside, and here's what I found. At ND4, the minimum ND strength, there is little to no color cast, maybe a very, very slight warm color cast, but it's nothing that I would consider an issue or even something that you need to correct for. Then by the time you get up to ND32, which is several stops darker, one stop below the darkest setting on the ND filter, you do get a quite significant yellow warm cast. That would definitely be something that you'll want to correct either on the drone or in post-processing. And then when you go to the darkest filter strength, ND64, you do have a very, very significant warm color cast. Now, how much of an issue is this? Honestly, I don't think it's a deal breaker. I will still use it and just correct the colors because it is just that much more convenient. And white balance is something that's not that hard to correct. But it is definitely something to be aware of and keep in mind when you're using. And then as far as sharpness, I tested this on both the wide angle camera and the 7x telecamera, and on both of those I could not detect any decrease in sharpness, both at ND4 and at ND62. In fact, at ND4 I almost thought it was slightly sharper, but that was probably just shot-to-shot variance, and I would say that there is absolutely no impact on sharpness when using the electronic ND filter. So is the END filter for the Mavic 4 Pro worth it? I would say yes, if you are wanting the best possible experience filming with your drone, the most efficient workflow for capturing aerial content, it is going to be very worth it. Now, if you just occasionally fly your Mavic or aren't trying to get high-end cinematic results out of it, then it's probably not going to be worth it. But for all of my cinematic drone people, I would say it is well worth it. If you want to see my best cinematic settings for the Mavic 4 Pro, you can click right here to watch that. Or if you want to see 20 tips and hidden features that make it even better, you can click right here. Don't forget to check out my updated free drone filmmaking training. Subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.